Jared Taylor, who believes that whites need to oppose immigration. Yes, the young woman wanted to say.
Mr. Taylor, how would you view the ideal American society? Similar to the Third Reich in Germany?
My views of American society have nothing whatsoever to do with European history. My intellectual antecedents are specifically American. Thomas Jefferson, Woodrow Wilson, Teddy Roosevelt. All of those people took for granted that this was a European society. The idea that diversity was some sort of strength was completely alien to their idea. And as I say, until 1965, we had an immigration policy designed to keep the country majority white.
Yes.
No, it has nothing to do with European history at all.
Here's what you said, just one of many things you said, and you'll stand by this, I'm sure. Ugly Mexicans and ugly Haitians come here to live permanently. But we are supposed to be endlessly sensitive to their peculiarities and revel in the diversity of toadying to their ethnic demands. Jared Taylor, American Renaissance, June 1996. You know, and Ben Franklin was concerned about the Germans coming into Pennsylvania. He said we'd all be Germanized. Holy cow, the Germans are coming. You know, you're not the first person to throw up these red flags, to be frightened of other people. You follow a long line of folk, and you do mention some rather famous people in our past who...
Abraham Lincoln, likewise. Yes, he did free the slaves, but he wanted to export every black from the United States. He wanted a completely white society. He said that slavery was a terrible injustice, but the idea of a multiracial society was anathema.
Ugly Mexicans and ugly Haitians, you said
I don't remember writing that. That's very unlike the way I write. I'd be surprised.
Come here to live permanently? Yeah, you do remember, though, going to your own neighborhood party where all the people are good-looking. You have no homely people in your neighborhood. You remember that, huh?
That was largely a joke. We're not all, well, the neighborhood is not exclusively good-looking, obviously.
Right. Lisa from Florida, Mr. Taylor's on the line. You wanted to say.
Yes, living in South Florida, our school systems are horrifically overcrowded. They're overcrowded because of illegal people from South America and Haiti. They come here on a daily basis. We have 40 and 50 legal American children in a classroom that cannot be properly educated, and we do not need people who will not learn the language. They speak to each other in their own language. They don't want to fit in, and our children sit and are held back while we try to teach these children.
I don't know whether it's fair to blame the immigrants for whatever may be the situation in your school system. Do you acknowledge that you're gone? Robert Quezada was a Cuban and was chairman of the board of Coca-Cola. We have all kinds of contributions. I could go on and on.
The point is not to blame the immigrants. It's to blame the people who run this country for permitting this to happen. You know, I am always amazed at the generosity of liberals. Let me make a point here, Mr. Donahue.
I'm listening.
Liberals are convinced that it is wonderfully enriching to go to school with poor Mexicans or Haitians who can't speak English, or with ghetto blacks who beat you up and shake you down for lunch money. That's wonderfully diverse. That's wonderfully enriching, but they nobly forego that for their children. No. They reserve this wonderful diversity for the children of white people who live in trailer parks.
Yes, a white kid can't beat you up and take your lunch money.
The generosity
Why would you lay all this illicit behavior on one color of peoples? There is enough sin to go around, and we are all capable of committing it. Why focus in like this in such an angry, hostile, frightened way?
Because it's real, Mr. Donahue. It is real.
Real. Gentleman wanted to ask, yes.
Yes, I have a question for you, Mr. Taylor.
Certainly.
I'd like to know if your group focuses on anything positive as far as diversity and immigration. Is there anything positive about that your group is involved in or that you see?
If you look all around the world today, the headlines where people are killing each other most diligently are places where you find diversity, where people in Ireland, there is religious diversity, they're killing each other. In the Middle East, there's ethnic diversity. They're killing each other. In the Sudan, North and South, there's racial diversity. They are killing each other. Diversity is dangerous, attention-ridden thing wherever you find it. I see no good in it anywhere.
And you want to then apparently create nations that are monoracial. Is that how you would balkanize the whole world?
The world started out more or less balkanized. It's only because of immigration that it ceased to be balkanized.
And we got this lousy thing called the airplane, you know, aviation and travel and
it doesn't
ability.
mean, look, there are certain countries, Japan, for example. Many Filipinos, many South Asians would love to live in Japan because it's a wealthy, successful country. The Japanese have this quaint idea that they'd like Japan to stay Japanese. They don't let them in. And I say God bless them. They have every right to do that. They're preserving a society that suits them and was created by their ancestors.
How are you with the Jews? Are you okay?
The Jews?
Yes.
I mean, the Jews are fine by me.
And so Jews can live in your neighborhood, then go to your cocktail party with all those good-looking people?
Look white to me.
Did you?
How are you with the Jews?
Did you not take? You take money from from the Pioneer Fund, do you not? That's one of the.
We have received.
The Pioneer Fund is famous for denying the Holocaust. You don't do that, do you?
No, no. The Pioneer Fund.
You believe the Holocaust existed?
Look. As I said, my racial views have nothing to do with European history. They are strictly American.
Do you believe the Holocaust existed?
Of course. I mean, obviously, Hitler was trying to do away with the Jews of Europe.
And yet you continue to take money from the Pioneer Fund.
The Pioneer Fund has nothing whatsoever to do with Holocaust denial. Nothing. You've missed your research on that.
The first president of the Pioneer Fund was one of my people, a fellow by the name of Laughlin. And he denied the Holocaust. That
Look,
was his,
that's
the
before
reason
the
he
Second
existed.
World War.
He spent his whole life preaching that the Holocaust never existed. And
Look,
you're taking money from the outfit that he headed. Now, you're awfully close here to people with...
This is pure silliness. The New Century Foundation, of which I'm president, has accepted 1 or 2 grants. We haven't gotten any money for several years. And the Pioneer Fund has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Holocaust denial. Harry Laughlin started that fund before the Second World War, before anybody had ever heard of the Holocaust. You're completely wrong on that, just like your Hispanic Nobel Prize winners.
Susan from Pennsylvania, you wanted to say hello.
Yes, hi. Susan from Levittown, Pennsylvania. Mr. Taylor,
yes.
You forget the people who are now protecting the United States, people from different ethnic nationalities. You might be in the wrong country.
That's the truth. We have a very multiracial, multi-ethnic armed forces. And they're out there risking their you-know-what for you and your freedom to speak.
And you know, Charles Rangel wants to institute the draft because he thinks there are too many blacks in our all-volunteer army. How's that for patriotism? How's that for patriotism?
Too many blacks fought in the Vietnam War. There's nothing unpatriotic to say about that. If your father could afford a lawyer, you didn't have to go. And we had poor white kids and people of color fight that war.
Blacks accounted for 12% of the casualties in Vietnam, precisely their proportion in the population. They did not shoulder a disproportionate burden.
We have, yes, I'll give you a chance. You don't have to turn that in. We got it all ready to go for you, and you'll be first when we come back with Jared Taylor in just a moment.